Hello, it's the Universal Critic. I talk about whatever I want whenever I want, and today I'm doing another trailer reaction video, which from now on I'm going to shorten to UCTR just to save space. And today I'm talking about, because, well, it turns out some of you may know, next year we're getting not one, but two new Wizard of Oz movies. They're not remakes. Neither of them are remakes. I just want to clear that in the open, then. Put that out in the open right there. You don't have to worry about that. One of them's there's two coming out. There's a live-action one, which is a prequel, and an animated one, which is a sequel. Was it really necessary to turn The Wizard of Oz into a trilogy? No. I know there are other books in the series, but I've never read the books, so I can't really talk about that. Anyway, I'm also going to focus just on the live-action one because, well, I'll just talk about the anime one very quickly because, well, I don't really know anything about it. All I know is that it's an animated film, computer animated, it's a sequel, and it's going to have an all-star cast, and I don't really know much else about it. It's like it's after Dorothy comes back to Kansas, but then she has to travel back to Oz for some reason. I really don't know that much about it, but that one's called Dorothy of Oz. The one I'm mainly going to talk about today is called Oz the Great and Powerful. You know how Wicked is like it tells the origin story of the witches? Well, this one does the same thing, but it also tells us mainly it focuses on the origin of the wizard, whose real name is Oscar Diggs, and he's played by James Franco. Alright then, and so basically he starts off you may know he was a circus magician. Those of you who've seen him would probably remember this. And he gets swept away in a hot air balloon to Oz, where he meets the Wicked Witch, the woman who will one day become the Wicked Witch of the West, played by Mila Kunis. Yeah, well, she's a good actress, so, and I guess it's gonna tell us, like, at the beginning of the movie, she's not all green and hideous like she is in the original Oz movie. She's actually a normal human, so I guess we're gonna find out how she became all green and hideous and stuff. You also got the Wicked Witch of the East, played by Rachel Weisz, and Glinda, the Good Witch of the North, played by Michelle Williams. Now that's actually a good casting choice. So Oz the Great and Powerful, it's directed by Sam Raimi, who you all may or may not know, the director of the Evil Dead trilogy and the Spider-Man trilogy. So as you can tell, he kind of has a very tendency for, kind of silly, kind of serious stuff. And I guess that might be a good fit for what they're going for in this movie. You're probably wondering what I think of this whole adult fairy tale craze. I don't particularly care for it. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't see Alice in Wonderland, I didn't see Beastly, I did see Red Riding Hood, which was just bad. And you all know I did a review of Snow White and the Huntsman. You can just look at that video if you want to know about that. And I did not see Mirror Mirror, so I can't comment on that either. Speaking of those two films, the thing that they're doing now, where two studios release two similar films with similar premises at around the same time, is called dueling. Such examples of this are Armageddon and Deep Impact, and even more similarly, Snow White and the Huntsman and Mirror Mirror. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Yeah, the whole adult fairy tale thing, though, I don't particularly care for, but I think it can work. I mean, you may have seen my review of Snow White and the Huntsman. That was okay. It could have been better, but it's okay. And the idea for Oz the Great and Powerful of, like, turning the Land of Oz into this CGI Wonderland, not that Wonderland, but you know what I meant. From what I've seen in the trailer, the visuals look very impressive, and it does look very colorful and very, very creative. But again, I guess I'll just have to see more. And like I said, I don't really know anything about Dorothy of Oz, so I won't talk about that one. And of course, yes, I know what you're all thinking. Yes, I saw The Wizard of Oz 1,000 times as a kid, and yes, it's one of my all-time favorite films, and of course I'm a little nervous about what they're doing to it, but I think they're playing it smart by not going up for a straight-up remake, because let's face it, no one would ever stand for a straight-up remake of The Wizard of Oz. That's like remaking Gone with the Wind or Casablanca or something. People just won't stand for it. But a prequel and a sequel is actually a clever idea, because like I said, the sequel, because, well, there's other books in the series you could adapt, but from what I understand, Dorothy of Oz doesn't have much to do with the other books, and the idea of telling the origin story of the wizard, that's actually a pretty creative idea, and the idea of turning the Land of Oz into a CGI Wonderland, as I said, it just looks incredible for what I see in the trailers, and in 3D no less. So overall, I'm actually looking forward to to these two Oz films, more the live-action one than the animated one, because, well, I don't know anything about it. And hopefully, unfortunately, the Oz the Great and Powerful doesn't come out till March, so you'll have to wait a long time for my actual review of that movie. Well, there you have it, my 2 cents. I'm the Universal Critic. I talk about whatever I want, whenever I want. Goodbye.